Alright, hello fellow miniature painters. Hope you're doing good tonight. Name's Gareth. I'm going to be working on putting the finishing touches to this Tharivol and Friends 2 miniature. So, without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. If anybody was on Carol's stream, she noticed that this right here is a little itty bitty frog. Hold on. I don't like the way that looks. Let's just flip that. There we go. That's better. So, she noticed that this was a frog. Well, now that she knew it was a frog, I know it's a frog, which means I've got to go ahead and paint it as a frog. Otherwise, I just chalk it up as a loss and call it good. But she kind of called me out on it. So, I figure I'll go ahead and paint the frog as a frog. And what better way to stick them out than to use nice bright neon green. And I hope anybody tuning in had a decent enough day. Mine was a little hectic, but overall not too bad. Solved some problems that cropped up throughout the day. So I'd say overall that's a win. And while I'm sitting here painting this too, I may just say go ahead and check out the new Dune trailer. I'm way excited for this new version of Dune, especially my own personal favorite character, Duncan Idaho, played by Jason Momoa. He's like one of two man crushes that I have, and I am comfortable enough to admit that. Which actually, as fate had it with this frog, this little underbelly part being kind of white will just fit. So I ain't gonna mess with it. And I know that's bad English. But if you're not live right now with me, you can't correct me on it. Ha 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 ha. He says as he laughs maniacally to himself. And I'll go over some of the other work that I've gotten done in the interim. As you can see, I painted some of the mushrooms purple and red. I was going to add the dots on stream, so that way people can see how I do that. And yeah, decided to make a few things look like grapes, and then a few spots to look like berries. Why? Because why not? So yeah, that green looks pretty good. I might give him another coat on that, just because it looks a little spotty from here, but good otherwise. Man, got the worst case of cottonmouth right now. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and add the white dots onto the mushroom using the old Skull White. Yes, I still have a pot of this. It's actually still pretty good. So I really like it. The only other white I like better right now is Dead White by Vallejo. So I'll make intense eye contact with the camera while I shake. Yeah, probably could use a little bit of love, but I'll take care of that. Actually use... Okay. So with these, I'm just going to do kind of random spots on these. There we go, just kind of keeping that. Yeah, I think on those the type of mushrooms that these are, I think the spots are just random, so no real need to keep things uniform. There we go, I think that's a little bit better. Yep. Otherwise, yeah, it's a good enough day on my end. Can't complain too much. Got to spend some good quality time with the kids, which is always good. A little tiring always, but in the end, it's always worth it. Okay, and actually a few other things I was going to do was probably add a few little extra highlights here. And yeah, probably pick out the since I did a wash over everything, I'll just go back with the same color and help raise it up some. Just pick out a few of these. You don't always have to pick out every one of them. And yes, would this be a little bit faster as an airbrush, or as a airbrush? Wow. Dry brush. Yep. But sometimes there's just something to be said about going through and highlighting it yourself. Right over there, just a little bit. And as always, if I'm painting something and you have any questions or anything else you'd like to hear me talk about, since the illustrious Michael Mordor says I have a hard drive for a brain, I would be glad to share any insights that I have on whatever topics you have. And that's if I know anything about it, to which I won't be afraid to admit I don't. If I don't know. And right now I'm just working on highlighting some of this moss or whatever it is you want to call it. Make it look like it has a little bit more depth other than one color, one wash. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of other things to talk about. Let's see here. Alright, I'm going to... Where's that? Yeah. I'm going to work on highlighting some of the leaves around some of the plants, and I might, yeah, I don't know. I'll just see what else kind of moves me, because otherwise I'm starting to feel like this is getting pretty close to done. Or at least as done as I want to make it myself. There you go. That's actually just really picking out, focus, there we go. Picking out the leaves there, kind of making the flowers pop a little bit more. Flowers and or berries. Which I may go through and hit these with a brighter red, since I haven't actually done a wash over any of my other red areas as of yet, just because I kind of added them as a little bit of a hindsight. Okay, let's see a few other vines I could probably hit up. Let's see, what else should I do on this little frog? I'm going to hit him with a little bit of this Thonian camo shade. Sorry about like reaching right by the camera. Hit it with a little bit of that, and I'll put that scorpion green back on some of the higher areas. Maybe, because otherwise this looks pretty decent so far. This might be one of those where I might need my magnifying glass to maybe see the eyes on the frog. Or I might just not do the eyes. Keep it a secret. Shh. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, how about that little green frog? Think he pops out pretty good too? Here I'm doing just a little bit of feathering because otherwise that was too stark of a transition. There we go. I think that looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think the red really pops up top. Might kind of make these, reapply some colors to these ferns too after I did the reds. So go back and hit them with the carrot top red like I did before. Oops, that's right there. And then I might hit them with a little bit of highlight orange too in the middle. Awfully quiet night tonight. But, hey, not every night can be a complete winner. Besides, I got some of the most important people here now anyways. Yeah, just to add some to this main stem right here. Just make it pop just a little bit more. I might do a little bit more on my base because there's one other thing that I meant to do, which is almost a Michael Mordor exclusive thing that he always does that I kind of forgot to do, so I'll go back and do that, but I'll go over that when I go to do that. with a little bit of highlight orange. Actually, just looking up something quick too. And getting a drink, so. Sorry for kind of looking off camera for a little bit, but trying to just take care of something. Okay, and oh, looks like I got rid of my frog pigs. Oh well, let me look quick. Let's see, tree frog. Move that over there. Alright. Okay. This is the fun thing with highlights. You could just keep doing progressively thinner and thinner lines. Well, let's see. It all depends. Depends on what you're going for. Right now, these Reaper brand paints work pretty good because I don't have to add much water to them, and then they have really good flow. But also, it is kind of a dealer's choice because sometimes certain brands have certain colors that you want to use. And honestly, between Reaper and Vallejo right now, you don't really have to muck with them much to get them to work. Okay, or it depends on what Reaper color you're using, because sometimes, like, for some reason the Dragon Black always seems to have a lot of flow material in there but not a lot of color until you give it out halfway through the bottle, which is kind of annoying. But then again, thanks, Kevin. Let me put my phone on vibrate. You think I'd remember that? Oh, I bet that just sounded great on stream. But yeah, something that you don't have to muck with a lot to get it to flow correctly is always good. So, yeah, for fine details, I would say, yeah, either Reaper or Vallejo work best, and then followed right behind by Citadel, as long as the colors are kept in good shape. Okay, so let's see. For all of those, I did actually, for the red, I used Holly Berry, and then to top that off, I might do just Daub. And I'll just drop that in my wet palette. I'll do some Wild Rider Red on some of the berries and the flowers just to make them stand out just a little bit more. Yes, I just lick my brush, but sometimes I only do that just to get the point back. I even put a little dot of Polyberry next to it so I can do a little bit of blending, if I so feel like it, which is that's exactly what I'm doing now anyways. And again, for which brand works best for fine details, that's just my 2 cents. Every painter's going to probably have their own answer to that question, but that's about the best one I can give. So take it for whatever meaning it is to you. I am but one voice on the internet. Okay, well those ferns, I'd say, look pretty good. And Froggy, he kind of blends in a little bit, but he looks pretty good. Yep, the interwebs. Or the interbutts. Whatever you want to call it. Okay. Honestly, there really isn't a whole lot else on this that I really want to pick out. Thank you. Yeah, so I might just kind of leave him there. Alright, now let me get out. Looking for a dry brush paint. There it is. Okay. There. So, a nice little trick taught to me by the illustrious Michael Mordor was to dry brush some Nurgling green on the base of some of the rocks to give it a mossy looking effect. I realized after I glued on the leaves I did not do that, so I'm going to go back and do that to some of the stones, not all, But then again, moss doesn't grow on all stones evenly. So let's see. Thought I had another dry brush out here, so maybe. Oh wait, there it is. Yeah, it's kind of pwned, so I'm just going to use breaking in a new dry brush today. Just got to load this up. And then we'll just, oh, let's keep that on camera. See how that already kind of there we go. Yeah, the moss will only go up so far, so I'm not going to go all the way up on all the walls, just part of the way up. Yeah, see how that adds? Let's see how well that turned. There we go. That adds kind of a aged effect to the stone. See, like right here, then just do a little bit through there. And yes, I know I'm blowing off some leaves, but hey, not all leaves will stay put for forever. Kind of expected that to happen. Thank you. Again, see, I'm not going up too terribly far on this. But it is adding a nice little effect. Yep. That is part of the trick. Just make it look as natural as possible. Which again, nice tricks from the Goblin King himself. Maybe I'll put a little bit around the pool there because there will always be some water there. And as I've heard some other YouTubers say, with airbrushing, less is more. Kind of like spice. You add too much, it overpowers it, kind of takes away everything else from it. So sometimes, just when you're like, I could add a little bit more, pull back. which honestly, I'm actually kind of happy with the way that looks right now. So, let's see. I think he might be done. I think this might be done. Yeah, because there's really nothing else I want to add to that. Let's see. Yeah. Well, give this another 360. If you see anything else that you think should be picked out, let me know. Otherwise, I'm feeling pretty good with that. Hold on just a second. Okay, so. What's the butt crack for? Alright, so, since I feel like I'm done with that, might just kind of let everything sit. Here is a commission that I've been working on. Again, it's a fantasy mini, actually for a Friends D&D game. So, I figured I would do some finishing touches on him while I'm on stream. There it is. But yeah, I actually free-handed. Let's see if that'll focus on him. Free-handed the logo of my brother's brewery on the front of the stein and gave it different colored bottles. So I'm going to go back and touch up some areas that I got some silver on or just kind of spilled over with some paint. Might even kind of dinge him up a little bit. Dry brush on some other colors just to make him look a little bit more through the ringer, as it were. So again, just touching up some areas where I think this is the right brown. Yeah, it is now. Just treat it as a highlight then. In some of these areas where while I was painting the bottles, it just kind of went over. Kind of add some definition here to feet. And I saw that I got the beard back here. Yeah, I might try to do another little dry brush here on the horns to add a little bit of extra definition. Okay, I think I used this sample gray for the hooves. Hey, Kay Rasmussen. Thanks for joining. You see, it's your mini. Yeah. Figured I got done with everything else I wanted to do on the other minis. And since this is more my fantasy-based stream, just like I will just try and finish him up. So I figured I'd tell you. Touch up the hooves here. Because one might say it would behoove me to do the hooves correctly. Thank you, I'm here for another 20 plus minutes. Tip the waitress, try the veal. I only intend to change in good ways. Alright, well, let's see. You want him dingied up a little bit. Maybe look a little... Won't do patches, but I might do some dirt spots on the clothes. Don't know if I want this one. I think I need a darker dry brush. There we go, that one. That ought to look good. Maybe some of this gold thing brown, unless I have another darker brown. Thought I did. Must be hiding somewhere. I know this makes for an exciting stream, watching me just dig around for paints. And listening to my chair fart. Which I keep swearing it's just my chair. Thank you, kind sir. Let's just go with this then. Yeah, let's see how this works. Only one way to find out, huh? A little bit of dirt to that, at least as best I can. Because like you said, he's well traveled. He's not a slob, but he's seen some life on the road. A little bit of this, his leg and his hooves. I mean, kind of tough to tell here. But what do you think? Yeah, clearly he drank his way through life on the road. Which, what do you think of the tavern floor? I added a orange wash, actually, to that driftwood, and I think it turned out really good. Awesome. Okay, so for those, a little bit on the horns. Hey, Michael Mordor, thanks for swinging by. Sorry you're up so early. Then it was so hot over in Scotland, but hey, at least you get to watch me, right? That's worth it, right? 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 Yeah. Here, Michael, I'll show you. Pretty much calling it done on this Tharivol and Friends, and just kind of doing a slow 360 of this. Which actually on Carol's stream, she discovered that this right here is a frog. So I painted him up as one. Lots of berries and ferns. Then I just did your Niblet Green dry brush on the base that I'm using, just to kind of give it that nice stony, that moss stony look. Okay. I'm going to do a very, very light. Just going to pick out the ridges of these horns here. Yeah, it really is. It's really hard. It's really, okay, it's really easy to get swamped in the details on that model. So I'm just trying not to let myself get drugged down by the undertow of details, as it were. There we go. Maybe I will just do it. Yep, actually, one of the guys in here is actually the guy who commissioned this to get it done. So, figured I would get this done on stream. It's a nice satyr. Had some fun painting the bottles. Thank you. Always appreciate that from you. Yeah, that was kind of fun to do. One of these is, this one here is just a brown candy ink from Green Stuff World. And this is a contrast paint from Games Workshop. And just figured I'd do a mix of colors of bottles, since there's no real canon color for bottles in taverns. So we just kind of figured we would go with whatever. Or at least go between browns and greens. So that always seems to be a standard. Commissions for the, I get the feeling the guy you're doing commission for likes the odd beer. Yeah, and actually, he does like some beer. And also, he had me, let's see if I can get it to focus at all. I managed to freehand my brother's brewery logo on the front of the stein, or at least as well as I can freehand that. Okay, let's see. Get Thank you. Tried really hard on that one to get it to look good. Again, that was kind of a moment where I just kind of got the magnifying glass out and just tried. Figured if I mess it up, I can just always paint over it again. I will have to try that at some point, which that just means I'm going to have to go over there, because I don't think it ships internationally, does it? There. How do those horns look with like the little ridges painted on them? Come on, focus. Focus on him, not on me. Ah. Thank you. Glad you like it. It's all that really matters. Now, also, for this base rim color, do you want it black like the last one that I did for you, or is there a special color you would prefer? And also, what do you think of the sword hilts so far? I think I did a wash on that. Okay. Cool. Well, then I'll just pop him off there, so I can get the whole rim. Uh, I should take notes about this, just so that way I'm using the same black every time. You'd think I'd learn, but just use the Chaos Black. Yep, there is a good grip on that hilt on that sword. Well, it's your choice to do the black ultimately, so we're doing the black together. It was your choice to do it. It's my job to paint it. So it still is a we. All right. There we go. I'll let that dry, and I'll do a second coat on it. Yeah, pretty close to the hour mark, and yeah, as far as fantasy miniatures, I don't have much else ready to go without just sitting here going, just staring at it for a while. So I may just call the stream here, and yeah, we'll just see what I end up painting next week for my Monday night stream, since I'm calling the Tharivol and Friends done, unless I look back at it and just go, I really should do this. But even then, that won't be next week because we'll be out of July, and I need to be done with it then. So this was the last stream for this, one way or the other. So unless you guys have any other questions or comments, debates, whatever else, I'll hold on for a little bit. But otherwise, yeah, gonna probably call it a night here soon, unless anybody else says anything. I'm waiting, I will take a drink of water. Well, alright, yeah, I will talk to you later on Discord, Michael. Yeah, thanks for sticking around, everybody, or thanks for stopping by for a little bit. Hope you enjoy. Yeah, don't know too much else, so just remember to keep on painting and have a great night.